Welcome to sports, everybody. The argument continues about the use of the track and field facility at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. So a meeting was held yesterday to bring some resolution to the matter. Ricardo Lightbourne has the story.
Coaches were given the new rules as it pertains to the use of the track. Assistant Director of Sports Steve Burrows and GB3A's President Kim Stewart conducted the meeting. The 8 rules were put on the table.
Local clubs will be scheduled once per week, usage on a rotating basis. Athletes will not be allowed to utilize running surface in the absence of coaches. Coaches should avoid using the finish line area to avoid excessive wear to the running surfaces. Only stipulated running spikes, Christmas tree compression or accordion spikes, or running waffles should be worn on the track for practice sessions and meets at all times. A maximum of 2 track clubs will be allowed at a time for practice sessions. Athletes selected for individual events or relays for national teams will be allowed to practice on the track between the trials and date of travel.
Some of the coaches were not in agreement with the rules and drew a comparison to the usage of the Thomas A in New Providence. Kim Stewart said the rules are the rules, and he would take the matter to the B3As.
On behalf of the GB3As, I can pursue it with the B3As, who can maybe go further into government and find out exactly why. Now, Steve isn't saying that because he's running Grand Bahama. He has nothing to do with Nassau. I don't know why you're comparing Freeport with Nassau.
Some of the coaches gave their opinion and they were noted. Others took the matters back to their clubs. Coach Roger Charlton and Joe Simmons were not pleased at all with the new rules and commented.
Former national coach understand the nature of running on surfaces such as the Mondo. To suggest that running on grass 4 days of the week then run on Mondo is acceptable is nonsense.
You're going to tell me that at 6 o'clock you're going to lock up and I'm still practicing and my kids still got to go in the bathroom to use the bathroom and they got to go in the bush after 6 o'clock? That's wrong.
Back here in the capital, the Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium will come alive on Saturday, showcasing some of the best athletes the country has to offer. Nico Scavella tells us more.
The Star Trackers Track and Field Club will be hosting its Baker Concrete Graco Limited Star Performance Track Classic 2012 on Saturday at the Thomas A. Robinson Stadium. Action starts at 9 a.m. and lasts till 9 that night for divisions under 7 to Masters. David Charlton, coach for Star Trackers, spoke more about the event.
A lot of competition, a lot of fun, plenty of food, plenty of drinks. It's going to be a fair atmosphere. I say fair carnival, like people bring the whole family out, have fun. It's $20 for VIP and $2 for general admission. Children under the age of 12 is admitted free. So we set it up like that so that the whole family could come out and enjoy themselves. We have teams coming in from Barbados, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and the United States, just to name a few. And we're going to have little kids from 5 years old right up to our senior athletes competing, giving it their all. So it's going to be a lot of excitement, and we promise to have also a lot of fun-filled activities. There's going to be bouncing castles, face painting, so it's a family affair.
Title sponsor J.R. McDonald has sponsored Star Trackers for 7 straight years. He spoke about how pleased he is to be the sponsor and what he expects.
We had a great event last year, and we're expecting at least that many fans this year, or hopefully more. These kids really love to hear the cheers and the clapping and the screaming that's going on in those stands. It really motivates them to perform well. So we're looking forward to a great event. The whole goal is for them to have scholastic achievement through this sports program. We want these kids to excel academically as well as they can, and this gives them a program and an opportunity and a ladder to get there. Some of these kids get scholarships. I think last year we had 8 kids that received scholarships to the U.S., which to me is a fantastic. These kids will go away to school, get their degrees, hopefully come home and be very productive citizens in the country.
For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Nico Scavella.
All right, thanks a lot, Nico. Well, the government secondary schools basketball season moving towards the playoff rounds. Yesterday at the C.I. Gibson Gym, the A2 National Lions and AF Adelaide Tigers playing in the junior girls regular season finale. The Lions got out to a quick start in this one and scored the first 2 buckets of the game. From there, the Tigers would claw their way back into the game, and it was back and forth for the rest of the first half. With the Lions up 14-9, the Tigers would go to work, and they went on an 8-2 2 run to take their first and only lead of the game at 17-16. Down the stretch, the Lions, they were more determined, and it showed on the scoreboard. They pull off the victory 33-27.
Let me say AFI did a great job. They have a very good team, very competitive. But what happened to us this time is what we did. Instead of back and by, we tried to do a half-court setup. But for a minute or two, it didn't work. And after the girls figured out what was happening, they started to make easy buckets.
We only played really with 5 or 6 persons. We were short-handed. Big girls didn't come out today, so they were really tired coming towards them, but they really, really wanted, and when it came down to crunch time, we got the turnovers that we wanted, but they didn't execute. So the best team won.
Now, in addition to finishing the season a perfect 7-0, yesterday's win was also significant because it gave the Lions the pennant outright. If they would have lost yesterday, they would have been in a 3-way tie with the AF Adderley Tigers and D.W. Davis Pitbulls.
I never told them that someone had lost. I told them if they lose the game today, they lose the pennant. So that basically was my message. You know, we were trying to clinch the pennant, and they did.
What's your mindset now as you go into the postseason?
Well, for postseason, you know, everybody starts at 0. Okay, so the record doesn't matter. So you don't come in the postseason thinking that, you know what, I beat them before, it's gonna happen again. It never works. You know, I've been around a long time, and I've seen some serious surprises. So we're not going to take any team for granted. Whoever we play, we want to be ready for them.
In years past, you girls used to dominate, but it seems like it's more on par now with the junior girls. Are you happy with what's happening with junior girls right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a better game. I wish the girls had a higher level. But what is happening is the kids are so distracted in so many things. It's sort of difficult to get their time and to put in all the effort. And then everybody else, you know, they have their stars too. So, you know, they have some at Donald Davis, some at AF Adderley. They got 1 or 2 at SC. So the talent is spread around pretty good.
Now, while the top-seeded Lions start the playoffs tomorrow against the SC McPherson Sharks, the second-seeded Tigers will wait an extra day and play on Friday against the third-seeded D.W. Davis Pitbulls.
I think we owe them something from next year, so we'll go back to the drawing board, and we'll be ready to go.
Talk about going back to the drawing board. What do you have to do between now and Thursday? Not much time.
Not much time. We'll have a shoot around. We'll practice. We had to be able to convert on our free throws. We missed a lot of free throws coming down the stretch. They were a little bit tired. Hopefully we'll get the big girls back, and then we'll be ready to go. We'll be all right.
Now, the junior boys' regular season schedule was also supposed to come to an end yesterday, but there was a mix-up in communication, meaning that game between AF Adderley and H.O. Nash had to be pushed back to today. For D.W. Davis coach Mark Hanna, this was a bit of a setback because that game affects who his undefeated Pitbulls will face in the playoffs. A win by H.O. Nash would give them the 3rd seed and L.W. Young the 4th seed. However, a win by AF Adderley would cause a 3-way tie for 3rd between the Tigers, H.O. Nash and L.W. Young, meaning the final 2 playoff spots would be determined on a tie-breaker system.
I'm a coach who believes in preparation. If we know in advance who we are playing against, and we go and prepare a game plan and a strategy, it depends on offenses and defense and matchups. So to go to bed tonight not knowing who I'm playing on Thursday, boy, I can't sleep tonight.
Now, we can tell you that AF Adderley won today's game. They have now secured the 3rd seed in the playoffs and will face T.A. Thompson on Monday. D.W. Davis, meantime, will go up against the 4th-seeded H.O. Nash Lions on Friday. We'll have the highlights from today's game for you tomorrow. On to some women's basketball news now. The New Providence Women's Basketball Association, they were back on court last night with a doubleheader. That, of course, over at the Donald Davis Gym. In the opening game, the defending champion 4J's Cheetahs coming out lackadaisical, and they found themselves down by 4 points to the Sentinel Junior All-Stars at the end of the first quarter. From there, though, the Cheetahs would pick up the pace, and they coasted to a 50-31 victory. Pamela Bethel led the way in the win with 9 points and 10 rebounds. Anastasia Motrici followed with 7 points and 11 boards. In the loss for the All-Stars, Jakia Brown, she put up a side-high 8 points. Now, in last night's featured game, the Bomber G Angels, they were trying to rebound from a loss. Last time out, it was their first of the season, and they got off to a rough start against the Saints. They were down 7-1. However, the Saints, they would falter down the stretch in the final 2 quarters. Those 2 quarters belonged to the Angels. They came away with a 39-32 victory. Melisha Peterson, she led the way in the win there with a game-high 10 points. And that will do it for sports.